Hello, everyone. Welcome to week 7 of the Sweater Season Quilt-Along, and this is the week you've been waiting for. I feel like we need like music and confetti and all the things. You put in tons of work, and even if you're just joining us today for the first time for this block, this is the epic Sweater Season block. So this block is put together with straight sewing and stitch and flip. And it's excellent and easy and really fun. And you can whip out these sweaters like no business here. So I can't wait to share this block with you today. And like I said last week, actually, if you only want this block, this pattern is worth it. You can grab the paper pattern from any local quilt shop that's carrying it. If you are a local quilt shop and you want to carry this quilt pattern, you can order it through Riley Blake Designs or through Checkers. And if you like the PDF today, you want it right now, instantly, you can grab it from the Be So Inspired website, Sweater Season. So this week is week 7, the Sweater Season block. The only tip and trick I have for you is, just like the rest of the pattern here, is the instructions are given for one block, and then on page 13, and then it gives you sort of the outer instructions on page 15, and it tells you how many of each block to make in each colorway. So this is the Sweater Season block, and the only thing that I really want to point out to you is that if you're using a directional fabric, like let's say you had just something that's the super directional, like a stripe even, and you wanted the stripes to go, that you just make sure that all of your pieces are cut. When it gives the cutting directions for width times height, that you cut your pieces width times height. So don't try and rotate them to squeeze a little bit more fabric out of there. Always cut them width times height, and then you'll end up with your Sweater Season block that is all in the same direction. So like I said before, starting on page 13, you're going to basically be sewing. I put my hair up today with a pen because it's getting kind of warm here. It's March, so yay, first day of March. Okay, I might just take it down. I did put it up with a pen today. Oh my goodness. So it's the first day of March, and I just wanted to feel like the lift of March. But we're still in sweater season, so the hair is coming back down. All right, so stitch and flips, same, no matter on the size of your stitch and flips. If you can get away with not drawing a line, I'm almost ashamed to say that, but if you can get away with not drawing a line on your smaller stitch and flips, please do on your bigger stitch and flips, because I have a line on the table of my machine, but once they get past 3-4 inches, then you lose that alignment on the corner. So it is super helpful. It's just a tiny little extra step, and these are really like the centerpiece of your quilt, so it's really worth it to take that extra time and draw the line as described. And then just trust the diagrams and trust the process, because it might seem like, well, I'm sewing this together and it doesn't look like a sleeve. I'm sewing a stitch and flip over here and a stitch and flip over there, but then all of a sudden you sew a stitch and flip on the side and it turns into the sleeve. The trick that I want to tell you is, before you trim your stitch and flips, so if you've done like this is a stitch and flip and this is a stitch and flip, and then these two are also, but before you trim these, sew them on, and then you can just place it to make sure that you haven't positioned them in the wrong corners by any stretch of the imagination. But otherwise, there's a stitch and flip right over here too. So just make sure you're following the diagrams as you go, and you're going to end up with a sweater in each colorway. It's going to make you so cozy and happy. And these will make this block is 14 3/4 by 18 1/2. So if you add a couple more borders to the height of it, then the top and bottom, you could end up with a great 18 by 18 pillow also. So if you wanted a cute little pillow like that. So that is week 7. When you come back here next week, we're going to talk through just assembling the quilt. It's so easy and fun. I will share with you maybe a couple of pantos. I know people in the past have asked for what I'm using for pantographs, so I'll bring those along to next week's as well. If you're just joining us and you want to grab a box kit, see if you can get your hands on one of these box kits. It's so much fun. This is the Sweater Season collection, so look at all those great colorways and the knitted fabrics, and there's some foxes in there and stripes. So lots of delicious fun in there and lots of great colors for winter, spring, fall, all the cozy colorways. And if you haven't already, please do join us over at the Be So Inspired website. It's where all of the action really happens. In my business, it's sort of like the center that everything else flows out of. So you can find the calendar there. You can find our Makers Club there. You can find our tutorials there. You can find sneak peeks and information about fabric collections. In fact, if you haven't taken a few minutes to go on the Be So Inspired website and look under the tab that says Fabric Collections, you'll see that it keeps going down and layering into this amazing wealth of knowledge. So under each collection is more tabs that bring you to like the dolls in that collection, the quilt patterns in that collection, the actual fabric collection tutorials, quilt-alongs and sew-alongs. There's just so much in there to support them and to share with you. And if you're a shop, I just wanted to make sure that you are aware of that so that your customers know that we are here to lift them up and support them as well as all of our shops that carry the fabric and patterns. So thank you so much for that. And if you're on the site and you have time, scooch over to the last tab, which is Makers Club, and you're going to see what a great value that is. So this year in 2023, we've just modified things slightly so that instead of spacing out the tutorials and the patterns throughout the month, we are giving them all to you at the beginning of the month. So you can see how they are coordinating together. You can choose between the quilt or the doll or the craft project, or pull them all together, and you can decide how it best works for you at the beginning of the month. So all those patterns come to you at the beginning of every month, but it's all for the price of less than one pattern. And if you join monthly, there's no obligation. You can just join for that month and grab those 3 patterns. Or we'd love for you to stay. If you get the yearly annual membership, you'll get all the back patterns as well as the monthly and continuing on. So you'll get the whole library of Makers Club patterns. So not the whole library. I know that's a little bit of in the shop. Sometimes the shop patterns come into the Makers Club early ahead of time, but the shop patterns are often different than the ones that are in the Makers Club. So that's really exciting and special about the Makers Club, and it's such an amazing value that I feel so excited to share it with you all the time. I just can't share it enough. All right. Well, thank you so much for being here. I can't wait to see you next week. Next week is our last week, and we're going to assemble that quilt. Come. Even if you are just planning on quilting it by hand or quilting it, sending it off to the long arm quilter or quilting it on your own domestic machine, we're going to talk about a couple of those options. So see you soon, and I'll see you next week. Same time, same place. Bye for now.